Hello, and welcome to the Heron Heads podcast. My name is Julio, and I'm joined today by some friends and fellow Inter Miami fans, Dave and Jose. Chris is not joining us tonight. So for those of you that voted Chris on who would be absent tonight from the stream, congratulations, you were correct. If you'd like to join polls like that in our Discord server, the link for that will be in the description down below. In addition to that, you will find a link to our Patreon and some other fun links. And speaking of Patreon, thank you to our chief Heron Heads, Chow and Mari V. We appreciate your continued generous support. And let's talk some Inter Miami preseason. There's been some new transfers. There's been new kits. There's been matches since we last spoke. But before we jump into that, how are you guys doing? And how has it been going?
Feeling a little jealous. Chris said that he actually got one of last year's kits on it was a heavy discount for the teal jersey that they're selling them now. I think in we're not sponsored by them, so I'm not gonna say where.
Oh my god!
Where was it? Actually,
Jose doesn't remember is the thing. It's available on Adidas.com, and that's still available in some sizes. I was actually looking at it, and the authentic ones are like $54.
That's it.
But you can get an additional 30% off if you just like sign up for their emails. They're just limited sizes, you know. So
yeah, but I hate the email, so I don't know. I can't
click the unsubscribe. I don't know what to tell you. Figure it out.
So yeah, other than that, I mean, we've been watching a pretty different team, right, from last year. It seems a little fun. Some fun additions. I'm excited to see how it unfolds. Now we're starting pretty early now with the Champions Cup against Sporting Kansas City, correct? And now we're playing Orlando, our little brothers, for friendly. But hey, it's fun, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to see that we're winning preseason matches as opposed to just getting the doors kicked in on us. So that's. Oh, hey there.
Thanks, Green.
Thanks. Appreciate it. We're back in action. You're helping us get back into the swing.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. So, yeah, basically it's nice to see that the changes that they've made have pretty much instantly started making a different impact. So, we're seeing the young players as well as a lot of the transfers stepping in, so that's something that is good to look for. I know that in this last match, I think Aviles had a concussion, so he didn't play. So hopefully he'll be back for regular actual play.
Toto?
Yeah, Toto didn't play last match, and it's because he was in the protocol.
I thought it was visa issues.
It's combination. He missed the last match because of that. But he's now in. I think him and Federico Redondo are both getting their visas set up. But he was in the protocol, so he wasn't training or anything. But hopefully he'll be cleared, concussion wise, when it's time to.
Redondo played last game though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're playing abroad, right?
Yeah, they were in Honduras.
Yeah, it's not an issue.
Right. So, speaking of the last match, Inter Miami won 5-0, and it was as dominant a preseason performance as we've seen in a couple years, because last year's preseason was a pretty big disaster. So it was nice to see sort of the potential of this team on display. It was against a Honduras team that admittedly we should be beating 5-0, given the talent that we have on our roster. But it was good to see that actually play out, because we've also played in Panama and we didn't win 5-0. And we've also played other lesser teams on paper, and the end result, it really hasn't matched the talent that we have on the roster again. So it's nice to see things actually clicking. There's definitely been some tactical changes that Mascherano has put in place that really changes the strategy of how we attack, how we defend. The defense is still questionable at best at times, but you can see the idea of what Mascherano wants to do, and I think it's promising. I think everything is still pretty. I was telling Jose before we went live, but it's all still pretty like speculative. Like what's going to happen when we go against MLS opposition? What's going to happen when it's a competitive match and not just a friendly where things might get a little chippy, but at the end of the day, everyone wants to get out of there not on a stretcher. So I think it's going to be interesting. This one will be a good way to end the preseason because it will be as chippy as a preseason match is going to get, given that it's in-state rivals Orlando. They don't like us, we don't like them. We've been owning them lately, so it should be fun. I think it's the perfect way to end the preseason.
Little brothers. Yeah, I mean, one thing I've noticed also is Allende seems to have just taken over for that wing spot over a Robert Taylor. I feel, at least in the last match, he took over that left wing position. For me, it's great, right? It's just someone else. I don't know how I feel about Allende in comparison. Not that I liked Robert Taylor very much, but I want to see how he keeps developing with our squad. I don't have feelings positive or negative with him. I think it's just interested.
Yeah, I mean, like I just said, it's still speculative, right? Like,
yeah,
what have you done for me lately? He's been good, but is he going to be like a Robert Taylor that has hot streaks and then goes cold for 2 months? We don't really know, but he is good. And what I really like that Mascherano's been doing is he has not been afraid of putting him on the wing and moving Messi central. And I think that is really important in activating Messi early and often in matches. There was a lot of matches last season where it took Messi 15 minutes to get meaningful touches on the ball, and it seems like there's a concerted effort to get him touches early and often, and obviously it's only to our benefit when he has the ball at his feet. Sorry to cut you off, Jose.
Yeah, that was setting it up. How about you, Dave? What do you feel about Allende?
Is it Allende or Allende? I thought it was Allende. I could be completely wrong. Whatever.
Everyone expects me to say it wrong here. So
it's nice. It's nice to have something different in attack, and I think that's definitely what he's bringing to us. Not having to rely on Robert Taylor anymore. We don't have Gomez to really use in that left wing spot. So having another piece that seems to be productive, like Julio said, we don't know yet because these games they are friendly, so it's a different atmosphere and different kind of pressure. So once we get actual meaningful matches in, it'll be nice to see if he continues that style of play. But yeah, any additional juice that we can get, we'll take, obviously, because you know what you're gonna get game in and game out from Messi and Suarez and these guys. So having more consistency out of those other positions, at least offensively, I think it'll even open it up more for the rest of the guys. And I know we have feelers out for some additional players to come in and really compete for those attacking spots as well.
Barca guy,
So
right?
it's nice to see that the club is not content with what they've acquired up to this point. They still have guys that they're looking to add, not just in the summer, but in the following winter as well. So that's nice to see.
Are you talking about that Barca guy? I think we recently got him, right? The one that Atletico Madrid was trying to get. I forget.
Right.
Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah.
It's a 19-year-old. I forgot his name.
He's 18, and his name is Alan Obando. And technically, Jose is right. He is a Barcelona player, but the South American Barcelona team.
That's our it's our little farm system that we have over there.
The South American Barcelona team.
Yeah. Jose's lost in the sauce. He has no idea that there's a difference.
It's literally, it doesn't matter. I don't know. It's just.
Let me tell you, there's a huge difference between the two.
It's fine. It's totally fine. They are the farm system. So that's that.
I love how Chris is in the chat right now. Has so much to say, but can't hop on and chat about it.
If only he was a part of a podcast that could really help give him the platform to really share these ideas and flesh them out. But I guess he's just not fortunate enough to be a part of a podcast like the Heron Heads.
He has a lot of like fun facts. It's pretty crazy, right?
Fun fact: Chris is not here. Move
Did you
on.
know? So yeah, so that was my. I was interested in Allende simply for the fact that we could possibly replace Robert Taylor forever. That has me intrigued. You know what I mean? Another one was. Oh, well, there you go. One thing I've noticed is that we've been putting Bright off. We've been having him as a sub. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I think they're trying to make Redondo work, and he's been fine. He's been fine. Like he hasn't wowed like the moments he had last season. He hasn't quite hit those heights of those highs, but it's fine. I think Bright as like a defensive midfield substitution has been working also pretty well. But in typical Bright fashion, you also see that when he's on the pitch, he immediately jumps off the screen and immediately is like tackling the offensive players one-on-one, taking the ball and starting something the other way. So I think we'll eventually see Bright work his way into competing for starting position, but given how Mascherano's sending out the lineup, I don't think he fits because he's trying to keep Busquets and Redondo out there as like a midfield duo that can play offensively but can also drop back and help in defense. And I think Bright might be missing the offensive element right now to his game, as good as he is on the defensive side. It makes sense just given how we're lining up formation wise. But again, every time Bright's on the pitch, like you're just like, wow, like he's a difference maker.
The thing is that like everybody's like crapping all over Redondo. I understand what everybody's saying because that's what I've seen as well. Everything that everybody's saying, I've seen as well. I just like, man, it's just like, and somebody said the Redondo's ability and his feet do not align. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like I agree, but you almost hope that they'll kind of come to meet somewhere, because I do see some flashes, you do see some flashes that you're like, oh, I can see why they paid so much money for this guy. But then you kind of see it and you're like, okay, I don't know what he's trying to do there. That's not what we're trying to do. Maybe it's just a mental issue. I don't know.
He came in with a lot of hype. There was a lot of praise around him, and people were excited. Remember how unhappy a lot of his fans were that he came here. They thought they had visions of Europe for him. So seeing him come here, they thought that was a misstep on his part. Yet he was supposed to come here and learn from the likes of Sergio Busquets. I think his first few appearances, you kind of saw more of those glimpses and less of the lapses. But lately, his last run of play hasn't been what we had expected. I'm not gonna say Redondo out like I saw Mike wrote earlier, but you do expect to see that jump. Like remember what we saw from Gomez that first year was some glimpses, but a lot of lapses, and then he made that huge jump. I'm holding out hope that a player again, Gomez was seen as an up and coming player, and some people on the outside were more hyped about him than we were after watching him. Maybe we get the same result from Redondo, where everybody else on the outside says this guy's got all the talent in the world, and we hadn't seen it yet. Maybe he is able to turn the corner. But I know there was a lot of talk last season about like mentally whether or not he was happy with the club and things like that, and we never heard that from Gomez. So hopefully that mental aspect isn't really gonna affect his play, and he's able to just put his best foot forward and really take this opportunity to come away with this position and run with it.
We also have to remember that Redondo and Mascherano have a history together. So there is some familiarity with maybe what Mascherano is trying to deploy and Redondo's ability to express that to the players around him on the pitch. So that also plays in his favor. Whereas Bright is still learning this new system and getting used to the new manager and vice versa. So I think that plays into it a little bit as well. But my takeaway from what we've seen in preseason is that Redondo and Bright they're just different profile players, and Redondo brings a little bit in attack where Bright is much stronger in defense. Redondo is more of a like well-rounded player as far as what he can bring in offense and defense. But I think it's going to be interesting. I think over the course of the season, Mascherano's going to have to change what he puts out on the pitch as far as formations go. There's going to be players in and out all the time, like we saw last season. So I think Bright will have more than enough opportunity to show how special a player he can be.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if like right now they've been putting David Ruiz at that other midfield, for example, Kremaski the other time. I'm just curious if he's doing that on purpose, just to have a little offensive firepower more so than having more defensive minded midfielders. Let's say you have, maybe he sees it as he has a Boosie in the middle as center mid. He can't have another person that is not flying around with, he needs people flying around. So, and on offense, preferably, right? So that could be the reasoning why a Bright isn't finding the pitch. Honestly, like what we see as Bright when he's on the pitch, we're like, this guy's making a difference. Maybe he's like, I need these other guys to step it up if we're gonna reach that potential, that next step.
And it's preseason, right? So Mascherano also is seeing what does he have and what does that look like in a game setting. I think the bench will get a little bit shorter when the competitive matches begin. And I mean, we start with a pretty congested schedule. We have Sporting Kansas City, then we have MLS kickoff, and then we have the second leg of the CONCACAF Champions Cup match or tie against Sporting Kansas City. So it like almost off the jump, he's going to have to play around with who plays, how much they play. And I think they've been doing a pretty good job of load management in the preseason. You definitely see the opposing teams sub everyone out before Miami. But again, I think Mascherano seeing what he has, he obviously knows what he has with the superstars, but all the other pieces, I mean, we've seen Kremaski come on pretty early. I think David Ruiz also came on pretty early in the last match. Maybe a byproduct of playing in Honduras.
Ian Frey getting minutes.
Shocking,
huge.
Dude.
I could not believe it. Like, I know when he went down last season and the initial reports were like, oh, this is terrible. And then the first trickle of news was, oh, it's not as bad as it could have been. It was a meniscus tear, I believe. I did not expect him to be playing in the preseason. They said he'd be back for the next season, but I did not expect it to be in game in a preseason. So fantastic. Right. I mean, that kid he's got that mental fortitude to come back from, man. He's had what, 3 or 4 major knee injuries now. This is
three ACLs and
now the meniscus.
Yeah, I think is it meniscus? I think it might have been MCL. It might have been meniscus. You might be right. I don't recall, but I remember it being like, he might not play again.
I would hate to be on my walking around and running around, less than a year later.
No, it's not just that. It's the amount of work he has to put in to get in shape after the injury, and also the rehab. He has to attack that rehab hard, and it's hard to do that year in and year out. Like, it's, if you get hurt every now and then, fine. You really give it your all in the rehab, but mentally, knowing that you had to do this again for the 4th time, like that's tough to come from. So you really have to tip your hat to a young player, because he still has that hunger. He knows he's good, and he has that hunger to be great, and that's something that you really need on this team from the young guys, because sometimes it's easy to get complacent, and especially when you're playing with the likes of Messi and things like that, you think that they'll just be good enough to carry you, but he seems like he's one of these guys who wants to be a linchpin of this organization.
It's super impressive, like super impressive. I couldn't believe when he subbed on. I think two matches ago was his first appearance, maybe 3, but he came on and I was like, I had to double take that it was actually him. But just incredible, like the comeback story over and over again. He thinks he's Joe Burrow out here winning, multiple comeback player of the year awards. But
he deserves it.
We've gone almost 20 minutes and we haven't mentioned someone who's really impressed me the first few weeks.
Can I bring them up? I don't know.
No, I think Fafa has been one of the best players of the preseason.
I thought you were gonna say somebody else.
Fafa, I said Papa. Fafa has been fun to watch. I just put that dot.
Just the hard hitting analysis from Jose as usual in midseason form. Really
fun to watch. Dot.
Fafa has been he has been the step up from Robert Taylor that you've
gonna
been looking
scratch
for,
it off.
Jose.
I'm gonna scratch it off now.
Okay, thank you. He looks explosive. He has good. He drives towards net, man. Like he goes after it.
Incisive.
That's the word, incisive. That's why we keep you around. But he is
That's
one
not
of those players that has jumped off the screen.
Why?
That's not why.
Dave Stradamus is why.
Yeah, Dave Stradamus is why. That's a good point. But yeah, Fafa has looked great. He brings an energy. He brings pace to the attack, which it feels like forever since we had any sort of pace in attack. It seems like he has just some explosion about him that he can really just burst past defensive lines.
He brings set piece versatility. He's a heading monster out here, and I think was it last season the majority of his goals were off of headers, and that's not something you expect from somebody of his stature. Like he's comparable to Messi in height, and Messi scored only hit like a handful of headers in his illustrious career. Yet here you have Fafa, who's just a heading machine, and it's not something you would really expect from him.
His head looks like he's a heading machine.
It's yeah.
You see, nice and polished, you know.
Nice.
Is he even bald? I thought he was. He is, right?
Yes.
All right, so I was right. Because you never know on the TV. We haven't had the most HD, video.
Yeah, the TV is known to add and subtract some.
Let me tell you, the streaming through Inter Miami's website through an unlisted YouTube video broadcast, what a nightmare this has been.
I'm saying, like, I
so appreciate Apple TV and the MLS deal that they have because having to
sweat drop, you know what I'm saying?
has been it's been a pain. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
and you can't even I had to go and find it on computer to then go into my YouTube app and be like, oh, let me check my history because you can't search it, and it's not listed on the club profile. It's been a pain. I feel like very abuelito, like not being able to figure out how to find the game on my phone, and I had to call someone, ask them how to do it. I didn't like it. I don't like it. I like just logging on to Apple TV and boom, it's there. But this has been
set it and forget it. Yeah.
This has been rough. I have not enjoyed it.
So agreed. Fafa has been fun. That's what I got. Moving on. Solid black backline. Jordi, Martinez, Frey, and Cello. Solid. Thoughts?
I don't think Frey's the long-term answer there. It is fun, but I think Toto. I think the club is committed to Toto being the center back.
We'll see.
What they build around in the defensive back.
Yeah, and the same argument for Redondo applies to Toto as well. It's another player that Mascherano has experience with in Argentina. So these are players that it's a big reason why they brought him on. He has insight to a lot of these young Argentines.
I can't understand what you're saying. I don't know who just pulled up out of nowhere.
Well, this is the new kit. It was officially announced today.
Okay. Sorry, David,
and officially revealed. Although there was spoilers during the Super Bowl, and then I think the club also spoiled it like yesterday.
But the Moss brothers gifted one of the jerseys to the Argentinian president.
Sure.
They're posing with the signed Messi jersey. This exact jersey with the president. That was like a week ago.
Yeah. So cool. This is the official. I also dig it. When it was first leaked, I was kind of lukewarm to the idea of it being the vertical stripes, but damn, if it looks good, I think it's pretty slick.
And the back is plain, just one solid pink. It's not striped in the back.
So you're saying Adidas.
This one is expensive.
How much is that one?
This one's almost $200. I'm pretty sure.
What? Huh?
For the authentic one.
So what does that mean?
What do you mean? What does it mean?
That Messi wore and he sweated it?
No, it's just
No,
No way,
that
no.
one's way more expensive than 200. Let me tell you.
No way I fit in that one.
Like not even one arm.
Right. It's mysterious.
I hope so.
There you go.
That's the hard hitting question. No, put it back up. That's the question I need. Does it change colors when they sweat? Imagine it turns like it's purple.
I agree with this statement by Kareem that Noah Allen at center back is. I got a little bit
It's
of
an
faith.
animal, man. Another coaching staff. It doesn't matter.
I think it's
right
gonna
away up
be. I think he's gonna be a situational player. I don't think he's the type of guy who can be out there playing.
But
too many minutes.
He has proven that he can be a competent center back.
I think off the bench,
pretty impressive.
Off the bench in a pinch, if you need energy at that spot, sure. I can't shake it. I can't shake the feeling. I'm sorry. I've been burned too many times. I know he's been playing better, but
David, he's been playing as Noah Allen plays, and they can't take him off the pitch. You don't understand? He has naked pictures of all of these guys. That's it.
Jose, thoughts? Sailor backup striker?
Might as well,
I mean, he scored last match.
Might as well. No matter what you do, you put him in a position to succeed or not succeed, and he will succeed.
Love that.
Figure it out.
There you go.
Speaking of, how we were talking about the back line. I don't know if we've moved on from that. I wonder how Jordy is going to do in this new scheme, because I feel like he kind of I'm sure Tata would tell him to do it and be like, hey, okay, whatever. And he would just run up the pitch, and he was a winger all of a sudden. He was not a right back, a left back. He was a left wing, And I wonder if that's going to continue.
Yeah. I think he's still one of the best attacking options on our team. So I don't see why it would stop. And I think depending on how the game's progressing, like we may see 4 players in attack with Fafa, Jordy, Messi, and Suarez, and everyone else just supporting and feeding them balls.
Thank you, Quasar. Just listing all the better available options.
Debatable. Very debatable.
What's debatable about that?
We don't know how good Maxi Falcon is going to be. Maxwell Falcon.
I mean,
I think
he's the great American.
I think he's just, hey, I'll take the field over him.
He's got awesome hair. He's got awesome name.
I completely agree. Allen. I completely agree. Show me what you got on the pitch, man, because Noah Allen's been bringing it.
Oh, man. Off by 5 of them. Am I right? There's a lot of people commenting stuff, man. There you go. Who will be – so this is my next question, ignoring everything. Who will be our next Gomez, and will we have one? Think about that one.
I don't think there's a 1-for-1 replacement for Gomez. You're not gonna.
Allende has the best chance to be the next guy that sort of breaks out for us in a way that Gomez did, because Gomez became like an offensive force, but Allende is a different profile type player. Right. But if he's able to produce from the wings, then it will be like we've uncovered or unlocked another player with high potential.
Right.
Yeah, but I think that profile is just so different that unless is that what you're trying to say? Like, who's the next breakout player? Or
no, man. Like we used to.
I don't think they replaced. I don't think they replaced
at that position, and we had Gomez, and I feel like we want to continue to play for cups and finals, and we want to win, right? So who's gonna take the reins? That's basically it.
I mean. That's such a nebulous question.
I think here's what the hope is that Redondo becomes as good as Gomez was or is. That's the hope. He has the ceiling to get there. It's just a matter of, can he get there?
I don't see him being used. I mean, and this is the other thing. Tata's not going to utilize. I mean, Mascherano's not going to utilize the same tactics that Tata did. So I don't think he'd be using a midfielder in wing and then dropping back, and I don't think we're going to be seeing that style of play. Maybe because we don't have the player to really do that. That's why I'm saying it's hard to envision who replaces Gomez in that sense. I think with replacing him with a true midfielder or a true winger in that sense. But so it'll be in the attack. It'll be a combination of Alba and either Fafa and Allende, and
Yeah.
then in the midfield you have hopefully you have Redondo step up, and then you'll have I think what is it Velasco? What's his name? He's a defensive midfielder as well, right? The Venezuelan guy.
The I think the good thing that I take away is that we have a lot of candidates that are potential breakouts. I think there's a lot of players that can make significant impact, especially in offense. We haven't quite shored up the defense.
Telasco.
Yeah.
I believe that's somebody who's going to help replace in the midfield, in the defensive side. Because Gomez did bring that. I mean, he was such a box-to-box type player that you're not going to replace him with just one person.
I agree. I think it's just the hope is that some of these players just hit the ground running and really become difference makers that you can use when Messi and Suarez have to rest a match or have to go on international duty. I mean, we're going to be again in multiple competitions throughout the season, hopefully for long stretches of the season this time, where last season they some of these campaigns ended pretty quickly. But again, I think the good thing is that there are a lot of potential candidates for breakout.
We'll see. My short look, like my short thought right now is basically they are Mike. They are, you know, I have a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old, so that's pretty accurate.
Crayons galore over there.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that one of these guys pan out. You know, just I kind of thought it would be Redondo. You know what I mean? That's the guy I thought would have stepped up into that spot, but the more I watch him, the more I think I don't think he's going to be Gomez.
I think so.
Gomez first came, I didn't think he was going to be Gomez either.
It's true. And the thing with Redondo is he seems to be, based on what we've seen, he seems to be more of like a facilitator of play versus Gomez. As much as we joked that he wasn't a shooter, he sort of became a good scoring option. And Redondo seems more pivotal in passing, assisting, creating openings for others, where Gomez was more of a direct player. And it's also different, right? Because Gomez was deployed much further up the pitch, and Redondo has almost exclusively been used in midfield.
But that joke that Gomez is not a scorer came at the fact that he was taking shots that were just horrible. While we've had Redondo on many occasions have good chances and either has a very, very soft touch on the ball or just passes up the opportunity. So it's a different mindset. And I don't know if Redondo's ever gonna have. I know he's more of a by skill, he's more of a facilitator, but I don't think he has the mindset to be a true attacker, which is why I just can't see him really.
Yeah, and again, I don't think he's not a like for like. Like none of these players are like for like. So it's I interpreted Jose's question as who is going to break out to the level that Diego Gomez broke out.
It's an open-ended question.
Yeah, you don't say, Jose. Thank you.
Jose. It's just a conversation starter. I mean, there was no right answer.
Let's see where it goes. You know what I'm saying?
He's just an icebreaker over here. All right, I think this is a good question here.
Let's get the Portal G's question has been sitting in front of our face.
Before any of us read it out loud and answer it, just know this is an interesting question, and you know we can draw a lot of hate from it. Go ahead.
Why don't you read it out for us, since you've been like the MC of this evening?
What do you guys think about Messi and Suarez comparison from last year? You think it's going to be better or worse? One better or one worse?
Are those the options? Like we have to pick one to be better and one to be worse?
No, I think it's just basically Messi, Suarez.
Will they both be better? Will they both be worse? Will one be better, one worse?
I think I wouldn't be surprised if what we saw from them last season, from like beginning to start is close to what we get again this season. I don't know if there's going to be much drop off. Messi missed a lot of time last season, and then Suarez started off really, really hot and then kind of cooled off and still was among the league leaders in goals scored. So I think if they just maintain some semblance of normal play, and if the group around them really is more solid, and I do believe that they've raised the floor on this club, I don't think it's very difficult for them to at least match what they did last season. I don't think there's going to be too much of a drop off. If there is, it'll be slight, but my expectation is for them to at least have like the same effect that they did last season. Maybe the numbers aren't all exactly the same, but the effect and the gravity that they'll have, I think it'll maintain.
And I think if there is a dip, it will come from Suarez. Just he just seems like he's deteriorating on TV. Like he just seems like it's getting earlier and earlier in matches where he's laboring to get going and get moving. But at the same time, you know that if he gets an opportunity in the box, there's usually a better than not chance that it's going to be something impactful. Yeah, I mean, Suarez, you look at him from the beginning, and one of the telling things for me is the amount he sort of complains and eggs on the match officials. That to me is like compensating for not being able to do the things that he used to be able to do. And that just comes with age, right? Like you're a little bit slower, you're not as strong. And he has some of that like just old man strength where he's boxing out like a younger player and
I
they
still
might
see
not
him as one
know.
of the strongest guys on the pitch. Like that,
I
I don't
agree,
see.
but
Yeah.
there's obviously like from an athletic standpoint, he's just simply not at the level he was 15 years ago. So when that happens, you start chirping in the ref's ear a little bit earlier, and that seems to be just more and more and more the case. So I think Messi, assuming all things equal, health and availability, it's going to be the same because he is still just levels above, and you see it every time he touches the ball. Like it's just ridiculous. He's still just beating players 2-on-1, 3-on-1. It doesn't matter. He still dribbles past them more often than not, and you just know he's gonna produce. I think just from father time is gonna attack Suarez first before he's able to capture Messi.
Yeah, I'm envisioning Suarez to have a little bit of just continue to fall. He did last year as well, right? Like we saw him throughout the season, just getting a little bit more tired. It seemed a little bit more like it seemed like he was getting injured a lot more often than not. I'm looking at Messi right now, and I'm wondering if he's gonna have a year that he doesn't get injured, right? For us, like I'm hoping, right? I'm hoping that that'll be, because if that's the case, he could be better, right? He could actually be better than what we've had, because that's for us. It's important, right? We're better with him than without him.
Look at what he did with such limited minutes last season. He
Right.
was still the league MVP.
Yes, that's my point. So for me, it's not so much him being a better player. It's can he stay healthy? If he can stay healthy, I'm hoping Macarano can maybe manage his minutes a little bit more. Maybe we could be a little bit like, I know you want to play, but no, not today. We can literally take this team without you. Just sit down, relax. You know what I'm saying?
There's also the added component that we do have Fafa Pico on the team, and it does create space, and you have counters. Or how many times do we see the counter ball go to Suarez,
You haven't
and
had
then
a guy
it
like that.
goes to a screeching halt because he's not outrunning anybody. Now you can give it to Fafa, let him really stretch out the field, and
You
then
haven't
that gives Suarez more of a chance to finish around net with more space. So just by spacing alone, that could really actually boost Suarez's effectiveness around the goal. I don't know. I wouldn't be. I saw somebody predicting like 30 goals for Messi and 10 for Suarez. I think I think Suarez can easily
I think he
score
can
more than
still get.
10 goals.
That's the thing. This guy doesn't need to be super freak athlete to score. He's not. He's incredible in the box. You know, he has eyes in the back of his head. Like that to me is not an issue. I think he will get his. I'm more concerned about like we don't have a backup striker, right? So like it's one of those things that I'm hoping that Barca guy that we're getting, I'm hoping he can kind of fall in line, and I'm hoping that one of these guys can.
He would be the
striker.
earliest we get him is in the summer, so it won't be for a while.
So, but then imagine Dave, we're literally not rolling in with Kampala anymore, right? Like who's gonna take over? You know?
Well, it's been Fafa.
will play.
It's been Fafa and Allende that have been scooting when Suarez gets subbed off. They've been sort of just pushed up to the front, and that is what it is right now. I'm hoping that by the time that point in the game comes, we're already winning by 2 or 3, and maybe we can sweat out the last 20 minutes. But we'll see.
All right.
We'll see. I think the defense is still a huge question mark. I think Ustadi deserves to be the starter match day 1. Calendar, Mascherano said that he should be available for the game day on Friday. But he didn't. He just said he should be in the squad. He didn't say if he will start on the bench. So I think that's something interesting to look out for Friday. But Ustadi's been pretty good. Like he looks solid. His positioning, his hands are a little bit more secure than Calendar's as far as like parrying and catching. He's caught some pretty difficult. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. New season,
What do you got going? To just explain. What do you got going on right now?
Okay. Well, for those of you listening on audio, someone's complimenting my haircut, and I honestly don't remember. It's like a 3 on the sides and just scissors on the top. I just combed over.
I go 2 on the sides.
You go 2 on the sides. It shows.
Yeah. I haven't got it in a minute, but
great. Just
thanks, poor OG for bringing that topic up.
Yeah, no, and thank you, Jose, for derailing what I was saying.
David, I'm not gonna ask you what you do with your hair because, like, it's just
I just sit down in the chair and the barber I've been going for forever just does what he does.
Yeah,
it's great. I don't know what you're talking about.
Huh?
It looks great. I don't know what you're talking about. It's curly.
I feel like I've always looked at your hair. I feel like your haircut has been the same since we're in immaculate. Like,
it's true, just different lengths.
It's just
it's always the same.
People pay big money to get their hair curled, and I just have it naturally. So I'm saving money over here.
It's amazing,
incredible. Yeah, but the backup striker is something that will be resolved, even if it's Obenda whenever he's able to join the team. But for now, I think Fafa's a serviceable striker in a pinch. I think Afonso is a serviceable striker in a pinch. Obviously, very young, very raw still, but you got to make do. Like, there's only so many. We have made a lot of moves, so I think we can't get too upset over the team trying things, even if it's not so clear to it. Like, all of us would say, sign more center backs, sign a different right back, sign a more well-known backup striker, but it's not how it works. Like, it's not FIFA or EAFC or whatever it's called. Like, you can't just pick a big name and be like, okay, come join us. There's a lot that goes into it. So I think the club is trying, and we're gonna have to see how this all works out. And I think for now we're okay. I like the new formation that we're playing. I like what we're seeing. There's not so much side to side. There's a little bit more directness in attack. And again, I think Messi centrally is way better for our team and the makeup of our team. And I think Allende is going to surprise a lot of people this season.
I agree. I mean, he's going to surprise me, Why? Because I don't know what to expect. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to get the natural replacement for Gomez. I don't know if they're just going to ultimately put him in at striker because we don't have a backup striker. So he could be our aggressor for this year. You know what I mean?
Do you know what you mean?
Gresso's still there, and he hasn't. I mean, he's just getting subbed in. I mean,
but who did you say was going to be Gresso? Allende?
No. He could be our like Swiss Army knife, similar to how Allende in the front line.
Fafa is going to be the Gresso, if anyone.
True.
The grizzled vet.
Yeah, who can play many positions.
Facu did that for a little bit last year too. Very
Facu
short.
for like 5 seconds.
Very short. Facu's stay with us. It's good times, man.
Let's talk about this. Let's do score predictions, but there's no Dave Stradamus because there's no Dave Stradamus in preseason. So we'll just make score predictions.
How do you predict what you don't know? Like, we don't know how many minutes people are gonna play. Like, it's
base it off of the other matches that you've watched.
It said that Messi's gonna be
0-0.
45 minutes, supposedly.
They did say that they were going to manage Messi's minutes more closely this match. So I'm interested to see if that means he's going to play exactly one half. He's been playing like 70, 75 minutes.
Yeah.
More than I've expected, to be honest. I don't think it'll be 0-0. I do think it'll be open. It'll be like a 3-2 Inter Miami win because we own Orlando City. So I'm going to go with 3-2.
Is the match here or there?
Tampa.
Doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It's in Tampa. There's not here nor there.
I mean, Tampa's more there than here.
But it's neither here nor there.
But it's more there than here. Is it here? No.
Your question wasn't here or there. It's neither. You're wrong. Thanks, Christopher, for coming in out of nowhere. We already said it.
Is Christopher? Did he just say he's in Tampa?
He's neither here nor there.
He's neither here.
Definitely not here. Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I think it's gonna be 2-0 in Miami. If Ustari plays. Drop a big if on you.
It's gonna be 1-1. A solid 1-1. Messi will play 45 minutes and be done.
Can I help you?
I know we play them soon.
Okay,
but not now.
After Sporting Kansas City, we'll play them.
See, New York City FC is neither here nor there. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there, Nadir.
And we'll definitely beat them. All right.
So, Inter Miami, Orlando City clash on Friday, and then we get competitive matches. So we will definitely be back in full force previewing and recapping all these matches now that the competitive matches get going. For those of you that are in the chat that also watch the Drive Pink Dialogue, or if you don't watch the Drive Pink Dialogue, I will be appearing on their show tomorrow night. They invited us on, or they invited us on. But I'll be there, so hope to see you guys there. Be sure to check them out and follow them. So that should be pretty fun. And follow us on all socials at the Heron Heads. Glad to be back. Glad that the season's kicking off. So let's hope it's a good one, a healthy one, and a successful one. Thank you guys for hanging out with the Heron Heads podcast, your first stop for all things Inter Miami, and we will catch you soon. Bye.
We'll be right back.